If you're listening on podcast, be sure to tune in to our YouTube channel for more content. The link is in the description.
Welcome to Wild and Weird Radio, a Wild and Weird West Virginia podcast.
In 1964, Nikolai Kardashev proposed a hypothetical scale for measuring a civilization's level of technological advancement based on the amount of energy it is able to use. A Type 1 civilization, for example, would be able to harness the power of its planet. For humans, the advancement of fusion and antimatter reactors would lead to this level, where a Type 2 could be building megastructures that would harness the power of their entire sun. A Type 3 would be able to literally rule their entire galaxy. And anything beyond that, to present-day humanity, which, by the way, rates about a negative on the scale, would seem to validate Arthur C Clarke's words. Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Join us in this highly speculative episode as we delve into some of the ideas surrounding these hypothetical advanced life forms. We will look for signs of possible past contact and settlements on Earth and try to peer into the future of our own species to see how far we might be able to make it on the Kardashev scale. On this episode of Wild and Weird Radio.
Welcome back to Wild and Weird Radio, everybody. Remember, since you're watching, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like, share, and tell your friends and family about this amazing channel that you're listening to. And don't forget, if you're listening to iTunes, all that good stuff, 5-star rating and review. You can even hate review us if you want. Just leave 5 stars. So let's go ahead. How are you guys doing? It feels like I haven't talked to y'all in forever. I don't know why that is, but it feels like I haven't.
We haven't, actually. We've all been kind of busy of late, as I recall. So, yeah, I'm doing good. I've tested a few new things today, and I'm really happy to say that I think that we can create a hollow Paracas skull, or elongated skull now.
Sweet.
So that cuts down on print time, which cuts down on price. So
absolutely
much more affordable for people. And that's about it. I've got a few other things, but nothing, of course, that we can talk about.
Right. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat.
Actually, do you want to talk about some of it? I mean,
we can because we've kept them waiting long enough, and man, we've been building some content, some backlog here. So, but first, I want to let Jesse, how's things been on your end, and then we'll add this into the group news segment, I guess.
This week has been a hell of a month. So
yeah, right.
Right. I've just been working on my LBL video that by the time this comes out, my first part of my second edition of my LBL video should be out and live. So I've been working on that pretty nonstop. So there's going to be a lot of bells and whistles on this one, and we're going to start to unravel some stuff when it comes to the Land Between the Lakes. So
awesome.
That is awesome. I cannot wait to see more than what we've already seen. It's just going to be great. By the way, if you guys haven't caught on yet, we've been, all of us with Wild and Weird and Hellbent, have been playing around with YouTube Shorts. And I don't know if you guys know what YouTube Shorts are. It's kind of like TikTok for YouTube, where you can just kind of thumb through short videos, and we're just kind of having some fun with those, getting them out there and reaching a broader audience. So if you guys want to go in there, you can select that little portion of YouTube on your mobile device, then just search either one of us and you'll see some of that content pop up.
When you go to our page, it'll actually show at the bottom. It's one of the categories now. So,
just double tap that.
Now, Jesse's are very good.
More of it as it comes.
So just to let you know, Jesse's are very good.
I only have one short out right now,
which is very good. Very good.
It's
I mean, just
an
amazing use of shorts. Mine, however, are hilarious. And because we're not all serious all the time, aren't we? I mean, that's the whole thing. But anyway, go enjoy them. They're a lot of fun.
So to get in a little bit of what the project we've got on deck is, we have been building a database for years, and we're finally launching it and making it public. And we were trying to figure out a way to make it public, the best way that we could do this, the best approach that we could make, and you guys are all going to have access to it.
What?
I'm really excited about it. I actually gave myself a headache the other night because I was staring at this computer screen, and I did for way too many hours in a row compiling these Google Map projects for you guys and then adding content into the page. Ron has basically done the same thing, and he's put a ton of work in as well on this, and we cannot wait. It's going to be, we're like 99.8% ready to launch this thing. Do you want to tell them what it is, Ron?
Well, sure, go ahead. I mean, we've hinted toward it for like years, so
we have. So you've heard all of us say how much we kind of dislike some of the Facebook groups. Well, not some of them, but like a lot of them, because of, well, it's Facebook and the way the Facebook groups run. It turns into these dog piles, and we've all talked about at least one point or another how much we missed the way the old ways were back in the dark ages of the internet.
Back in the old days, we used to have a thing called forums, kids.
Exactly. So we hopped in the Wayback Machine, and we've created a forum. And why don't you say we go ahead and launch the forum at 8 p.m. this Friday as you're listening to this live broadcast.
What an amazing concept.
I think we can do it.
I think we might be able to do that.
So if you're listening right now and you're on your laptop, you're on your mobile device, you can, if you're on an Android, I know on Apple it won't let you do this, but if you're on Android, you can go ahead and just move your YouTube screen down to the bottom. Or if you're listening on any device, go ahead and type in wildandweirdwv.com.
A new thing is going to show up.
Yeah. As you look at the home menu, it's going to be a little different because there's going to be a tab for forums. Hit that, join up, register with the forum. Now you have access to the data. You also have access to join us and communicate openly in a safe environment to share your data, review other people's data, and just get back to the way things used to be on the internet.
Well, it's to promote healthy discourse and actual communication rather than, it's there and then it's gone. Right. That's the thing about forums is, if there's a really good piece of information, you can just easily search it or you can go back to it. It's there.
Yeah.
So, that's the point of it. And that's what the collective was always about, was to bring everyone together. So the tool
now
is there.
Your time to join the collective.
Now it's up to you. Yeah, pretty much.
I'm pretty stoked about this. We have been working on this, like the actual logistics part of this, for a really, really long time. And we've been working on the actual practical portion of it for the last month. And it will be ready by the time you guys are listening to this.
And now comes the moderation headache.
Yes. Yep. That is going to be it. So that is going to, the moderation headache will ensue. But luckily, the way that we've set it up, it should run pretty smooth. Like the backwards tools and the administrator tools are really, really good on our end. So
they really are. And, I have to give a big shout out to our group already. If we're going to get the people who are from our talk group over there, we don't have much to worry about. I mean, those guys are great. We've never had really hardly any issues with anyone. Out of 3,000 people, we have some really good people. So, and when we do have issues, they're taken care of. It's just that easy. So, anyway, new place for you guys to play with. If you want to listen to this, wonderful. I really hope you do stick around, and don't go over there yet. I mean, it's there, but maybe like make that your reward for after the show. It's an after show party, right?
There you go.
Anyway. All right, let's get to the news, guys, and all that fun stuff.
All right. So this has actually been a surprisingly slow news week.
The sun's exploding. That's not, again.
Yeah. Ron, you want to talk about that one?
I don't know. The sun's exploding again. I mean, that's pretty much all I can say. Apparently, we have another CME. Actually, it should be hitting tonight, and they predict more within the next couple of days. So there's really, really a big active coronal mass ejection going on the sun right now. So who knows? I mean, I know today that when the wave did hit the upper ionosphere, that it did cause a shortwave radio blackout over, I believe it was Africa.
Yeah.
So these
Africa and part of the Atlantic.
These are pretty big CMEs, guys. So also, I'm curious, and I've done this before. I've said this before, and I had some really good response from you guys. Let us know if you happen to feel a little off or anything during these CMEs. I'd kind of like
usual.
Yeah, more than normal, off more than usual.
Like I have been.
I know I can feel it. I mean, I figured that out the last couple of ones. So, I mean, you can.
I got a tremendous migraine, and that is part of one of the reasons why.
Yep.
We're recording tonight. You guys don't know that we're off a night, but here we are. Surprise.
Surprise.
And so it was bad, and the effects of it lingered longer than typical migraine for me.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so if the sun continues to explode, we'll see.
So will my head, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, your head is kind of reflecting a lot of light right now, so there's lots of similarities.
I know. It's
a solar flare.
It is. That's exactly what it is.
It's a solar flare. It's a class X flare right there. That's what that is.
So what else do we got? We got the sun blowing up. We've got
NASA's making some announcements. So
aliens.
Aliens. Huh?
They always make big promises. That's a big thing with NASA. They make all these big promises, get everybody hyped up, and then it's just
sick of the teasing. How about you? Are you guys not sick of the teasing?
Oh,
we have a major announcement to make. Let's hold a press conference to tell you that we found a rock.
NASA is the boy who cried alien at this point. So right now, what's going on is on the 30th, which is Wednesday, NASA will be announcing that there is some new science coming out of the Hubble telescope. And if you didn't know the Hubble telescope was still operational, it is. It will reach its 32nd anniversary on April 25th. It was launched in 1990 and is still up there sending data back. Recently, they launched the James Webb Space Telescope. Currently, it is still aligning its mirrors. So it is not operational yet, but the Hubble is still up there cranking along. So this Wednesday, which will be the Wednesday after this comes out, of course, there'll be some new science out. So maybe the Earth will be on fire from everybody panicking because they've seen the giant spacecraft headed this way. We're all done for. Or it could just be another NASA letdown.
I've got my fingers crossed for giant space rock.
Giant space rock.
We've had a lot of this lately.
I got it. I think I know what they're going to do. They're going to actually come out and say, "Hey guys, Pluto is actually a planet."
It's actually a planet.
That's what it's going to be.
That's what it is. Yeah, it's going to be a huge, monumental, just amazing announcement. I'm sure.
I feel like we're all in like an abusive relationship with NASA at this point.
We are. We absolutely are, and we keep going back. I'm ready to just pack up my stuff, get in the car, and drive.
Okay. But they do that space thing I like.
Tell us the truth. So Luis Elizondo came out with a new interview
No, more breadcrumbs.
Yeah, more breadcrumbs. But there wasn't. This was more of a rehash of some of the other stuff he's already done, except for the fact that he did manage to poo-poo all over everybody who's like a big fan of the DUMBs or the deep underground military bases. And he also like poo-pooed on the alien underground bases as well. So with that,
he don't know everything,
unless he does.
No. What about the breeding facilities for the Nephilim host mothers?
We can't talk about that, Jess.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's right. Those are top secret. I do understand that Joe might have the lowdown, and we might have to do an episode just for that.
I believe that's a collective exclusive.
Yeah, that'll be a collective exclusive episode. The Nephilim host mother underground bases.
Yes.
Can't wait.
Oh, I can.
So in a little bit more somber news, the world lost a very popular and well-known UFO researcher.
No. She was an experiencer who I remember reading about her years ago, and I had to double check and triple check before I posted it up, because apparently there had been some rumors before that she had died, but she was alive and well. But Betty Anderson, Luca, she was the subject of what's his name, Fowler's books, Raymond Fowler's books. And if you've ever read any of those, I'll actually list those down for you. I'm not going to go through a whole big spiel on this, but just a fantastic person. She is the one who had all these incredible visions, just amazing contactee type experience. And it was really that one is right up there with losing Stanton Friedman to me. So, it's important. It's very important.
It was a big piece of UFO history.
It's a huge piece of UFO history. Yes. Especially the abduction lore. Yes.
Well, guys, I think that wraps us up on the news. So we're going to move into the main segment.
I'm going to go hit the button.
So let's get into the meat and potatoes.
And I like potatoes.
That's right. I forgot. The meat and onions.
I don't know if anybody knows this or not, but I really do not like potatoes. I'm just going to go ahead and put that out. Luis Elizondo always drops these little things. I do that too. So this is one little thing I'm going to drop in this episode. I don't like potatoes.
The only time you'll ever see this man actually eating potatoes is if it's my potato soup. That is really literally the only time I've seen him do it. Or the potato noodles.
I mean,
but those don't really count.
Those are good though.
So
yeah. Okay. Anyway, enough potatoes.
This week's episode, we're your leading experts on information regarding the Kardashev Scale. Am I right, guys?
So I'm going to start out here. I think that Chloe is probably like a 3. We've got Kim is a 7 at this point. And then we have Kylie. Kylie's really moved from a 1 to about a 4. But yeah.
Okay. So she's
right. That's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, you got it. You totally researched the right
that. I mean, that's the right topic.
Got it.
Nothing could go wrong.
Oh no, not the Kardashian scale. I'm sorry. I was just joking. I'm prepared for this. It's the calamari scale. Some of it's good with marinara. Some of the calamari is good with lemon. Some of it.
Those Kardashians were on Next Generation too. They were pretty vicious, as I remember. They kidnapped Picard in that one episode.
They did.
Yeah.
They did kidnap Picard.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this one of your little Ewok shows that you guys watch?
There were 4 lights though. There wasn't 5 lights.
There is now an entire fandom that's going to hunt you down for saying an Ewok show.
Picard's on the little Ewok
I am not
show,
responsible. I am not responsible. She is just a good friend of ours. I mean, we don't know what she knows. It's, not responsible.
I just watched the one with the sexy robots. That's the only one I like. So.
Hey, I'm all in for sexy robots.
So that's the only one I'm here for.
I am down.
Yeah.
So assimilate me. Anyway. All right, guys. So the Kardashev scale, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the Kardashev scale or the Kardashian scale, depending on which one you're looking at, we are looking at this hypothetical scale. Okay, so this isn't an exact science. It's a theoretical science, and it's this kind of a rule of thumb that that scientists use. And it is to gauge the technology and the advancement of societies and civilizations. Now, we are technically, like, science says we're a type 1, but like I really think we're
no, we're not.
Type
no,
0.5.
No, we're not a type 1, period.
Well, we're at the point where we don't store the energy. We're just using it.
We go into the minus category, though, and that is a real thing. So
yeah, we're like a point something.
Yeah, we're in the minus. I believe that we are actually a type 3 minus, something like that. If I remember reading right, that's where we are. We're type 3 minus.
We're a -3.
Yeah, we're -3.
So it says actually at the current time, humanity has not reached type 1 status. Physicist and futurist Mikio Kaku suggests that if humans increase their energy consumptions at a rate of 3% each year, they may attain type 1 status in roughly 100 to 200 years, type 2 status in a few thousand years, and type 3 status in 100,000 to 1,000,000 years. That's a pretty wide breadth.
That's about right.
But like, he's got an awful lot of hope for us, because I really don't see us reaching true type 1 without actually wiping ourselves off the face of the planet first.
Which is possible. I mean, it's totally possible.
But I don't think it's going to be a 100% extinction event, but it's also going to set us back in time in terms of where we are on the scale again. So it's
guys, join us for Fallen Worlds episode 4, the reset of the Kardashev scale.
Yeah, right.
No, yeah, you're 100% right, Jesse. Like I tend to fall in that same thought process myself.
Well, so let's play the game. If we get to type 1, that basically means that we can harness all the energy that reaches our planet from our star, the sun. That's a lot of energy. And that we can manipulate that and control it. I could see us getting there. I mean, there was talk of, the Chinese made the artificial sun, the reactor, not long ago, right? It's kind of what we're getting at, except for it would be a lot more powerful.
It would be large enough to power the whole planet.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. So it would also be literally large enough to destroy the whole planet or other planets.
Yes.
So you see, this is the problem. This is one of those, this is one of those Stan Lee things. With great power comes great responsibility, right? And really, for real, because, I can't even really contemplate anything past a class 1, honestly.
No, yeah, it's beyond. We can contemplate beyond a class 1 because it's what our science fiction is. Like,
yeah.
It's that kind of level, but that's like not even. It'd be like a 1.5. Like,
I don't see humans doing it. Is what I'm getting at.
Right.
Not unless something changes.
So there must be something with, just to give you a little bit of background on Kardashev Scale, who created all that good stuff. There must be something about guys named Nikolai, right? You got Nikolai Tesla, Nikolai Kardashev. That's who created the Kardashev Scale. And he was a physicist. And moving forward with other physicists, we're going to jump into another well-known name, Mr. Carl Sagan. So Carl was hypothesizing using the Kardashev scale principle, and I'm going to go ahead for all of you folks who are just the mathematicians in the crowd.
Not me.
Yeah, no, me neither. So this is like way over my head.
You're going to say big numbers?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
So K equals log to the 10th power P minus 6 over 10. That's the Kardashev scale. You know, this is like that whole meme that you see where they're like watching the numbers scroll through the screen. But that's the formula that they use to come up with what we are now. Back in 1973, that was where I was getting my point number for like what we were. In 1973, we were based off this equation, a 0.7. Essentially, we were using 10 terawatts of power at the time. So we're not quite a type 1, but we're kind of getting there. Now, what would make us a true type 1 is if we learned how to go into the Dyson sphere technology. If we could actually get a working Dyson sphere, that would put us in a way where we were controlling our planet's sun's energy.
Well, that'd be a type 2, though, Joe.
Well, that would launch us into type 2.
Yeah, that would launch us into type 2.
Yeah, like that would be the big. Without that, we can't go into type 2.
No.
We have to have this, because we'll give you a rundown on the types real quick. All right, so a type 1 civilization is a civilization that is called a planetary civilization. They can use and store all of the energy available on its planet. So think like if we covered our entire planet with solar panels to be able to pull all the harness energy from our sun, or to harness all the energy from our sun. We were also covering it with wind turbines to harness wind energy, and we were using a lot of hydroelectric energy. We had completely kind of stepped away from fossil fuels, but we're using all of the other natural elements to create energy. Now, we've started doing some of those things, but we're nowhere near the scale it would require to actually be considered a type 1. Like we're 0.3 away, but we have to take a lot more steps.
And storage of that energy is almost impossible at this point, because the battery technology is just not there. In order to create these batteries, you have to mine all of these rare earth minerals, and you are destroying the planet mining enough stuff for one battery at this point.
Exactly.
So it's just, I don't see this getting to scale with just what we have on this planet to this point. I don't see how it could ever get to that scale to where we would be a 1.
Well,
what you
just said, that's a key.
On this planet.
That's why, if you've noticed, a while back before you were one of the hosts with us, in our news run that we did about a year ago, there was a huge news article that was released where we were starting to look at these extraterrestrial rocks with meteorites and asteroids that were coming into our orbit, and trying to figure out ways to land on them, to mine them. So there would be the rare earth metal resources, but that's the only way that we're actually going to be able to get those is if we start mining some of these space rocks, because we are going to tap out the planet here. I mean, we've already just I think currently our lithium, which is what's used for lithium batteries, we've used, I think, like 30% of the available lithium on the planet. So there's only 70% of the lithium that was originally here that's still there. And lithium isn't exactly an element that is being created rapid fire. So it takes a lot of time. It's a lot of perfect world scenarios to make lithium happen.
Yeah.
So once we mine it all out, guys, it's gone. Same with the rest of these rare earth metals. So a type 2 civilization is called a stellar civilization. They can control the energy at a scale of its planetary system. So we've harnessed at that point, we've gone and harnessed the entire power of our planetary system. So we're using energy now, taking energy sources from other planets in our solar system, as well as that's when the Dyson sphere technology comes into play. That is one of the first things that would probably happen in a level 2 civilization. And a type 3 civilization is a galactic civilization. This is where we start getting into, Star Trek and Star Wars. You've got these galactic civilizations that can control energy at the scale of its entire host galaxy. I can't wrap my mind around that. Like, my brain's just not that big.
Was there a, I don't know if it was, I saw a thing that they think that they found the remnants of what could have been a Dyson sphere at one time.
Yes. Ron, you want to run that one?
That was, which star system was it? Tabby's star, right? I think. Yeah. I can't remember. It's just off the top of my head.
It was,
I believe it was Tabby's star. And
it was the one that was sending the repeating signal.
They thought that could be us detecting what could be a Dyson sphere because of the way it was. I guess it was revolving. The light was, like Joe said, but they don't really know. They think now that may have just been a little planetoid that was going around and causing that spike, but who really knows? We haven't heard much about it since.
Like Jesse mentioned, they assume this was the remnants of a Dyson sphere, not
an active,
maybe not an active Dyson sphere.
Yeah, and that whole thing goes into the famous Drake equation, and all of that, because what happened to them? It's that whole great filter thing, isn't it? It's like, even if we do find the remnants out there, and we haven't yet, we haven't confirmed it yet anyway. When I say we haven't, just understand that I'm saying as a fact, we haven't. It hasn't been reported to us. We probably have, but we haven't yet. So, and until we do find something like that and actually define it, then it's all still speculation. That was the whole reason for the Galileo project. It's not to look for actual live aliens. It's to look for the evidence of ancient alien civilizations. As funny as that may sound to some people, that is what it's for. Because there's more chance that in the millions and millions of years that we have been here, we are just to this level. But millions and millions of years ago, and that's what the Drake equation argues, is that, if life was so prevalent in the universe, then Earth should have been visited, before. Oh, okay. Yeah. It could have been. It could have been visited, colonized multiple times at this point.
It could have collapsed, and then it's all over, and then it comes back up again to what civilization we have now.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And, I remember years ago, I was reading some articles. They were talking about finding all this microplastic, in the ice in the Antarctic. And, they're blaming, of course, pollution and whatnot. And I'm thinking, when I saw that, that's not what I went to. I thought, microplastics? We haven't had plastics that long.
Right. Yeah. Microplastics being found that deep in the ice wouldn't be new ice. No, that's what people were kind of missing with that. This was old ice with microplastics in it.
And I would like to see more research on that to actually look deeper into it, because I do believe that there are signatures. If we start looking at things, you want to talk about, everyone's talking about climate change today, right? Well, let's look at some of the past climate changes. Yep. Let's look at some of those core samples, and let's see if we see the same things. Let's see if we see those carbon spikes, and guess what? We do actually see carbon spikes, but it's blamed on volcanic activity and whatnot. What if it wasn't volcanic activity? That's my whole thing. It's like,
well, the evidence of microplastics kind of lean in favor. I mean, even though it's hypothetical, it still leans in favor of a civilization.
It does. And, we're just talking about the plastic particles, it takes so long to break down, right?
Yep.
But, I've heard people, where are the skyscrapers? Where are the remnants? Where's the rust? Rust? What's wrong with you? All would be left would be a couple of stains here and there. You wouldn't have anything, guys.
Or you would have no concept of what this hypothetical society would be like.
Thanks, Jess.
What their methods of construction would be. Would they build something more environmentally friendly that would eventually break down? That maybe they think they're going to be an eternal society, so why build monuments to the future when you can always build more? Then so maybe you have something that's more environmentally friendly that would break down over time, and you just continue to build after that. But then after their societies collapse, then everything falls apart and is just left to nothingness.
Well, and you also got to think too, even if they weren't building something that was like as environmentally friendly, if you create an atmosphere that is so caustic, it's going to deteriorate things at a rapid pace anyway. You know, I don't know how many of you guys who are listening have watched the old Without Humans documentary.
Oh, I love that show.
That
Life Without Humans.
Life Without Humans was
wait, Life After People, or is it Life Without?
Yeah.
Oh,
Life
yeah,
After
Life
People.
After People.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. Life After People.
In my world, it was humans.
Humans. Homo sapiens.
So Life After People showed just how quick certain things deteriorate. You know, the only things that would be left after 20, 30 years would be megastructures. If you drive down the road and you see a house that's in disrepair and falling in and falling apart, normally you have memory of that structure from your childhood being erect and standing and kept up.
That's right.
But a house can come down very, very quickly, especially if it's mostly wood construction.
Yes.
Now, you would still see these metal superforms. That's assuming they used metal. Like Jess was saying, it could have been a more environmentally silicate-based type material. Rather than using steel or something like that, they could have used some kind of a concretion that would have broke down over time.
Polymer.
Especially, and those kind of materials would break down rapidly under acid rain. Again, this is all hypothetical. Just kind of.
They saw no value in creating megalithic structures of any kind.
Yeah, they didn't see the value in making anything in their image or anything that would stand the test of time. Yeah, like
for all we know, it was
so
like,
plausible. It's not funny.
We gotta camp out here. You know, for all we know, that's what it was. You know, it's like it's down and dirty, as fast as we can get it, built, and then it went from there. You know, and then of course we can't rule out the whole planetary destruction that could have occurred.
There's a lot of people who theorize that could have happened to Mars already.
Yeah, exactly. The same thing. The same exact story. So I really do still believe that to tell our full story, we really got to get out there and we got to get to Mars and we got to really look for ancient signs of ancient civilizations. If they're there, then there's probably no doubt that that's where we came from, guys. I mean, in my opinion, anyway.
Now, because this is a theoretical science here, there's an astronomer, which is where Ron had his number of the -3 system. I see that here. That was from the astronomer Guillermo Lamarckand. I totally butchered that dude's name. But he theorizes that a Type 1 civilization is at a level near contemporary terrestrial civilization with an energy capability equivalent to solar insolation on Earth between 10 to the 16th power and 10 to the 17th power watts. Now, we're currently on this 10-watt scale, and he's saying that we would have to be between 16 and 17 times to the value of 10. But the ratio that Carl Sagan was using and got us to a 0.73 was using just 10 terawatts. So he's saying that we need to be 16 to 17 times what Carl Sagan was proposing back in the 1970s. In 2020, he's saying that we need to be 16 to 17 times more energy production than Carl Sagan was saying. That moves us drastically down the scale from 0.7 into that -3 zone. So with that said, what would he was the Guillermo was saying that we needed to have solar insulation, which would be a Dyson sphere. Under his theory, that we would have to have a Dyson sphere before we got out of type 1. To move into type 2, we would have to have the Dyson sphere, because we would need to be using 581.51 exajoules, which I know all you guys know what those mean. Basically, that is an astronomical amount of power.
So the Dyson sphere is basically the Rubicon of technology that would take you from 1 to 2, and then beyond that, because it is assuming that other civilizations are like humans and want to expand out, like ever like permanently expanding out and conquering and going forth and expanding into the, as we expand our nations, we expand our worlds, right? So assuming that other civilizations, or we're not even, that's the thing, is we keep applying human values and human motivations to other civilizations or entities or beings or anything like that, and we turn these into human in our own mind. We don't even think that it could be something completely out of the sphere of that they don't have the same motivation. So why would they expand in the same way? That's why sometimes this is just impossible to talk about at all.
No, you're 100% right, and you pretty much made the perfect illustration of what Carl Sagan used to do, and he would sit around and pretty much debunk all the UFO talk, because, well, there are no aliens, because aliens could not possibly travel this far. It would take lifetimes and generation ships. Says who?
That was so good. It was not funny. That wasn't the same.
Yeah, I know. It's sad. I can
use and everything.
I'm telling you though, this just drives me nuts, and that's what they do. They try to, like Jess said, they put human values on things that are not human.
For all we know, for all we know, we could be the only type of entity in existence that is like how we are. That maybe the alien we're dealing with is not some large-headed thing with 2 arms and 2 legs that's going to walk down a set of stairs and come onto our planet. We make that in our heads, when we could be the only ones that are like that in existence, and the others, maybe there's one other set, there's some ethereal cloud of tentacles at this point.
That's Commander Zorpazorp.
Yeah,
it's just so strange that everybody constantly applies these human emotions and habits and lifespans and everything. It's the same thing with the Bigfoot. That people constantly want to turn them into people. They want to constantly say, oh, well, they have these clan structures and they do this and they do that. You have no idea about anything that these things do. We don't have the information about what these things do. And you're just putting your own values and your own mentality and your own
anthropomorphizing
habits. Yes, there you go. But sorry, small woman brain here, okay? But
I just like it because it's a fun word.
She means small because she's tiny. She doesn't mean like any other kind of small, not derogatory in any way.
She's barely 5 feet tall.
She's little. She's the littlest amount of kick your butt you'll ever see.
It's our little angry Smurf.
Yes.
But it's so, it could just be that these things are something from a Lovecraftian universe,
Yeah.
No, you're not wrong.
You're 100%. Yeah. So
of course, this is all theoretical. This is all just pissing in the wind at this point. But, it's funny that everybody wants to apply their own scale of things and their own thoughts of everything onto everything they see. And that's just, we do it to our pets. We do it to everything. That's just an interesting observation I have, that everybody is just caught in this little parameter. Again, everybody's caught in parameters that they create for themselves. And then if you get outside of that, some people just lose their minds.
100% right. She's absolutely nailed it.
So what you were saying made me think. While you were talking, I started going and putting together what this thing would actually look like, just to put it into perspective for our listeners and anybody else. I guess they're your listeners if they're listening to this. So
they would be listeners, or
they would be listeners or viewers.
Viewers.
There we go. Viewers. That's the other one.
Yes.
So, right now we're doing this thing called Starlink, right? Elon Musk is launching up these satellites, and everybody's losing their ever-loving minds over these satellites. Oh my gosh, we can't see the stars. All right.
Well,
Now,
they did move them for those people, though.
They did. They moved them farther out. You're right.
Now they look like a giant spaceship instead of a bunch of stars.
So now, imagine this. You know how much effort it's taken to get the few that are up there. You would have to encapsulate the entire planet. And this is just one dude's company building this thing, launching stuff out there, right? Now, to get up to the point where you wouldn't be able to see stars because you would have so many structures around your planet. Now, you're talking tons and tons and tons of these space structures around our planet to where we wouldn't be able to see the stars. We'd be blocking out all the light. Imagine this. The effort that it would take to build that around the sun. To put put this into perspective, our sun is 1.3 million Earths. So this little blue dot that we float around on, it takes 1.3 million of our planet to equal the volume mass of the sun. So just the undertaking of building a Dyson sphere, we are nowhere close.
No,
because we can't even agree on how to get a satellite internet service into the sky.
It's a very good point, Joe. And I think that in order to do these things, there's something that they haven't really addressed. They show the scales. We see the scales here.
Yeah.
And we see scales that go all the way up into a hypothetical, 6, which is just God.
Yeah, pretty much. They're
omni point. It literally is. I mean, because it was a type, let me find type 4. Type 4 beings control, my favorite, or use the entire universe.
Yeah.
What? They control or use the entire universe?
Yeah.
I mean, what? So, and a type 5. No, wait, there's more. So there's type 5, and they control collections of universes. Okay. And I don't even want to talk about type 6. It's just
this sounds so exhausting.
Yeah, it really is. Like,
how do you get there?
The research on this, because getting into the minus scales and then getting into the extra scales. Now, like, I'm good with 1, 2, and 3.
Well, Kardashev didn't believe anything past 3.
No, he
said
did.
4 was impossible, and so
everything else was theoretical.
Yeah, it was all,
like beyond theoretical of what the already theoretical science was.
Right. Unless Gene Roddenberry steps in, I guess, that was
right.
That was where the rest of it. But the thing is, how do you get from those points? And they haven't really got to that. You see, this is the thing. Like we're all saying the same thing. We would have to get to a set point, wouldn't we? There's a breakthrough technology that has to happen, right? So you have to have levels of breakthrough.
You'd also have to have a breakthrough in society where we weren't throwing rocks at each other anymore.
Right.
You would also have to have a massive amount of population to have the amount of labor necessary to build these many structures and these scale structures. Yeah, you would have to have a fascistic society that is focused totally on doing this task. Yes. You couldn't have artists or anything like that. It would have to be, you must focus on this task or you are not a part of our society, because
it's
massive amount of effort, manpower that would be required to do something like this is absolutely just, it's beyond comprehension.
Breakthrough number 1 would be a social breakthrough. It would have to be, right?
Yeah.
So we agree with that, because you're right. You would have to, social structure would have to change completely. And, literally you would have one world working toward one goal.
Yes.
Okay. It's kind of like what we saw in Egypt when they built the pyramids, right? The whole, they were all building the pyramids. So
wait, I thought aliens built the pyramids.
No one said aliens built the pyramids except for dumb people. Okay. The aliens helped. Okay. Anyway. No, I'm
I didn't do it all.
Aliens totally, they totally gave them the blueprints. But what I'm getting to is we got to have breakthrough technologies. Yeah. And one of the breakthroughs, like you said, the very first breakthrough would have to be a social reconditioning, right? Isn't that what I'm getting at?
Yeah. I mean, it's a social reconditioning because currently we can't all agree on
the color of gray.
Yeah, we really can't. But the biggest thing is we can't agree, one, on any form of politics.
Nope.
We can't agree on any form of climate change, whatever we want to call it. I mean, these cycles have happened throughout history. It's proven. We know that this happens.
That's because worlds were here and they were destroyed, Joe. Move on.
Moving forward. So we would have to get to a point, and it would take probably something very catastrophic, in my opinion. Like, we would be facing actual imminent doom. Not this whole, like, in 50 years, beachfront property is going to be underwater. But something that's like, okay, yeah, we're all going to actually just turn into a matchstick head and explode if we don't start doing something right now. And the whole population of the planet would have to be able to visibly see how bad things were to be like, yeah, you know what? I think we need to work together. Because it's not just going to be like somebody gets up there and gives some pitch and it's like, we all need to work together towards a good society where we can go out and meet our space brothers. That's not going to happen.
No. Because if you come to the Space Brothers with that attitude, no, never. Oh man.
It would definitely take when you have something like, September 11th, everybody kind of came together for a little while after
good point.
that. You've got a common enemy sort of thing. If there was like a common enemy, there would be that. But then you would always have traitors in your midst. You would always have the nihilists, the doomers, that would, go against the progress of your project. Like I said before, you would just have to have a real tight, just dominated society. It would have to be like a fascist society, as join or die. Would be the only way that you could actually attain a goal like that. And you would have to have such an explosion of population on top of that. There's no supporting that amount.
An old-fashioned alien invasion would possibly bring us all together.
It's an old-fashioned alien invasion. Yeah, you're right.
But what if alien invasion was the Space Brothers coming to be like, look, y'all, galaxy's in trouble. Y'all don't understand anything I'm saying because it's coming out like gleep, glop, gloop, glop, and gup. But we're going to give you technology because we need you to have the technology because we need to harness the power of the entire sun.
Ooh.
Otherwise,
good, man.
We're all toast.
That's good. That's really good. Yeah. I like that. That's possible too,
Looking into like full hypotheticals.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're out there, man. We're beyond the red line at this point. So
yeah. Like this is it could be one of those scenarios. I mean, because being 100% honest, even with what Jesse's saying, like I don't think humanity's going to be able to do it.
Here's the thing. Humanity is self-destructive.
Yeah.
100% self-destructive. I do not subscribe to self-destruction. So therefore, I don't kind of jive with that. It's kind of like John Lennon. You know how he used to say, imagine? It's kind of like that. I know you can hear it, can't you? I can hear it too. But no, for real. I think we do. We have to be this one thing. And we can't be one thing if we're all at each other's throats constantly, or trying to be divided by stupid crap constantly, or being manipulated by, fake fist fights on award shows.
But I don't even think it has to always be such a negative thing to say that, we are divided or that we're always at odds with one another. I don't think that, that's the only reason, I mean, if everybody was full steam ahead towards one goal, and it's this creation of this technology. If that was that, then we wouldn't have anything for the soul at all. What is the point of living if you're just another cog in this machine of advancement of technology? What is the point of being alive? I mean, if that was the case, why? I mean, we wouldn't have Macbeth. We wouldn't have, we wouldn't have music. We wouldn't have art. We wouldn't have anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't create. If we're not allowed to do those things because the advancement of technology is paramount, then just throw me off the Dyson sphere at that point.
I understand. I absolutely 100% understand. And again, we're looking at it in human terms, aren't we? So let's imagine this, because there's our likely, more likely future, Jess. And this is what we need you for. We're probably going to be replaced by our predecessors, right? I mean, we know who they are at this point.
I mean, I'm going to be a head in a jar, so I don't know what you're talking about.
You are probably, but the advancements in AI at this point have gone beyond the special that we did, and we just did our special at the turn of the year. By the way, at the beginning of the year, I believe it was. Some of the stuff that I have seen just in the past month is terrifying. Gosh. It is terrifying. Okay.
Yeah.
This has moved beyond science fiction at this point. It is absolutely possible and probable that humanity will be replaced at some point by this. And that is why Musk always said to survive, the race would have to merge, right?
Become Borg.
Sort of, yeah. So maybe that's how it works, though, you see. Now, what happens when we do merge? What happens to the artists? What happens to the philosophers and the poets? What happens to all of our greatest works? What happens to all of what made humanity? It's obsolete. They don't need that. They won't need that. What will they need? They will need whatever the Central Core program tells them they need. Build. Replicate.
I think I'm hoping myself for a kind of a Dune situation where there's like a Butlerian jihad, and then we outlaw all of this technology because we must keep it at bay.
They won't, Jess. They won't. I mean, I'm honestly telling you.
That do.
I'm not joking. I really do. I do think that this is where we're headed at this point. I know others are like, we're going to blow ourselves up. Nah, I think we'll probably get killed by the robots first. But the only thing that's saving us at this point, honestly, is the AI has been very cleverly built in compartmentalized sections. And we have our little chat bots.
Because they watched Terminator back in 1980. They knew. Yeah,
they did. They actually paid a little bit of attention, it seems, because they haven't put the mind in the body yet.
So does this mean that John Connor actually came back and saved the day?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, man. I mean, it does seem like that they did take a little bit into consideration, though, because they haven't put the mind in the body yet. But when they put the mind in the body, I'm just saying, game is pretty much over for humanity. Okay. So that means that we would rate about, I don't know. We would rate about a 0.8 or so before that happened. What would be left of us, though, for another race to discover? This is what this is what that whole thing was about. This is my whole.
Yeah. I mean, if we're just this big group of Cybermen,
what's the proof that we were ever
a human brain inside a robotic body? What's it? What are they gonna, like you said, what are they gonna discover?
What are they gonna discover? What are they now? Humanity's gone. Humanity has been replaced at this point. So what I'm trying to get at is, we see all these people are like, the aliens are coming, blah blah, and they're all welcoming these aliens. Dude, we don't even know what that is. You see, we have no clue what that is, where they came from. It's such a big unknown that it boggles your mind to think about this stuff. And if we're thinking about little meaningless things like this, can you imagine the thoughts of a class 5 civilization?
Probably just wishes it had Taco Bell still.
Yeah, right. It's deep, man. It's really, really deep, and it's very serious. And it is stuff that we do need to look at. I mean, these are things that we need to look at. I do believe that like I said, we won't be around as a species unless two things happen. We get our crap together, which is unlikely, or there's some kind of intervention which forces us to get our crap together.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat because I don't see us getting our crap together. It's going to be a do or die, like Jesse was saying, situation. It'll be forced into like a do or die.
Desperation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This has been a really, really uplifting episode, guys.
I know, right? Those are my favorite.
These are my favorite episodes when we talk about doom and gloom.
The doomers.
And, I think we may be there. Well, I did spend a good 10 years working on Shattered Worlds, so I was pretty good at predicting, what things would look like thousands and thousands of years in the future. So there's that. But, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that I'm going to go back to that whole Drake thing? Because, Drake's thing was that they're not there. If they were there, that we would have found them by now. What do you think about that? I mean, honestly. And yes, you can use ancient astronaut theory if you want, but I'm talking about,
I personally, I understand Drake's philosophy that, if they were out there, they'd have been here by now, in more of a presence than what people say they have. But at the same time, it kind of also seems really limiting. It doesn't take into account all of the possibilities. Doesn't take into account the faint chance that maybe there's a civilization that's just barely farther along than we are, and they've just got into the whole planetary travel in the last 2,000 years. It's what are trying to actually say 100% for sure either way is impossible, but I tend to lean more into the possibilities rather than it can't happen, because if it could, it would have already been that way. Because technically, if you follow some of this stuff from ancient astronaut theory, that already has, and the Drake equation's a bunch of, so
it's just as much speculation, right? That's what you're getting at.
Yeah, it's just as much speculation as Kardeshev scale.
Yeah. So
Jess, what do you think?
Yeah.
A good little intellectual exercise I'm thinking about right now is, the universe has always been a very violent and chaotic place, that is just mass explosions, and it's just over the last hundreds and millions of years has started to maybe slow down around us a little bit. Maybe we are the first. Maybe we're the first ones that have come out of this rampant chaos and have been able to crawl our way into living and being life. Because it's just so violent and chaotic everywhere else that it just hasn't happened anywhere else yet. That's kind of a lonely feeling to think that there is nothing out there, especially with everything we've seen in terms of disclosure and all of the evidence we've seen. But who's to say that none of that is not maybe interstellar or it's not maybe interstellar, maybe it's interdimensional. And that adds a whole other million layers to the equation. So my answer is I have no damn clue.
I love it. I absolutely love it, because I think that's where we all stand. We really don't have a clue. We have guesses. We have so many guesses, and we can go on and about guesses forever, but we really don't know. And I think that's one of the greatest mysteries. We also have to put it out there, Joe, because maybe the way we are is the way that things kind of go, and maybe there's this massive galactic war out there. We don't know. I mean, we
Maybe
would not
that
know.
star system was the remnants of a Dyson sphere. They tried to get there and then didn't quite finish.
Also, the universe is still expanding. So if something was close to us a while back, it's further away now. You know, that's making it more and more unlikely that we're even going to come in contact with anything else. So if it was way over there before and the universe is constantly expanding still and going to be still, then it's just further and further and further out of reach. Maybe the time to ever connect has already passed and it's over with. That was our one, maybe our chance is gone anyway.
Or this is one for the record. What if the Tower of Babel scenario was when the galaxies were close in and then they were dispersed and life was spread not just across the planet or across continents and broken into different languages and types, but we were actually dispersed amongst the stars.
Oh, that's Stargate.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. That's right.
You caught
Stargate.
that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, what if? I mean, that's
cosmic seeds, and that's why everybody still kind of remotely looks the same when they come down here.
Maybe.
And don't look like tentacles.
Adaptive evolution takes place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but here we are.
Possible.
So yeah, there's
I want to know
possibility.
What do you guys think? That would be a good thing, right? Because this is a deep topic.
It is a deep topic.
This is an infinite topic at this point.
It's,
no, yeah, 100%. This is how all theoreticals go, though.
Well, we didn't even go into time travel. I mean,
No, we didn't.
Or multi-dimensions, really. So leaving all that off the table. Tell us what you think.
Yeah.
Because that'll be for another show.
Can I drag it in just for 5 seconds here? Can I drag it into kind of a folklore direction?
Yeah, let's do it.
Think about, so you were like, so think about the level 3 or the level 4, what are they doing and everything like that. You can think about that maybe as a trickster element, that they get so bored with their omnipotence that they come down and just mess with us. Referring back to your little Ewok show that you guys watch, the Q Collective, with all,
God forgive her. Dear God forgive her.
I told Joe I was going to say that. He's like, they're going to murder you. You're ready for the hate mail. No. But it's, it could be like, we could be a novelty. We're just little blips on the screen, but somehow they've gone beyond that. They've lost their connection with being what it means to be, such a low creature, such a base, primitive little creature on the scale. They're so above that maybe, the trickster element is them reconnecting with us to try to reconnect with being that and seeing
humanity.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, that makes about as much sense, if not more sense, than anything else we've talked about tonight.
Well, it's literally the Q. I mean, really, that was it, because Q was fascinated by humanity because, exactly what you said. I mean, he literally played, with Picard like he was a mouse. Yeah, but he liked him, because I think what you just said, that was the whole point of it. Like, it reminded, there was something there that reminded the continuum about what they once were. So, hey, maybe one day we might make it to class whatever, but right now, good luck. You got a lot of work to do, people.
Yeah. Well, I think we've kind of covered what we've all thought so far on this. So, Jesse, why don't you go ahead and take us home?
Oh, let's take you out to level 16 now, everybody.
Uh-oh, here we
go.
go.
No, please, God, no. So, thank you guys for joining us on this wild and wacky journey through
That's
space,
the truth.
Time, civilization, pretty much everything. If you want to help out our little microcosm here of Wild and Weird Radio, you can always hit the like, subscribe, and share button. If you're listening to the podcast on a podcast aggregator, make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. But make sure you download it too, even if you are listening to it streaming. download it anyway. That helps us so much. And we really appreciate everybody who has liked, shared, subscribed, downloaded, did all that good stuff for us already. You've really helped grow Wild and Weird Radio, and we are so appreciative of it. Make sure you join us next week and every week after that for all of our cool little conversations, and join us in the discussion on the Facebook group and soon to be on wildandweirdwv.com, where the forum is launching right now as we speak. So as you're listening to me right now, there's a forum there. You need to go and join it. Get your username in now, folks. So you can follow me on Instagram at Hellbent Jesse. I've got my latest LBL jaunt coming out. There's a part 2 to it as well that's also in the works. You can follow Joe at Skinwalker Sculpts. You can follow Ron at Lanham Ron. As always, you can go to wildandweirdwv.com to find out where the guys are going to be. We've got festivals and we've got all kinds of appearances coming up. And it's going to get into festival and con and all that kind of season soon. As the weather warms up, everybody gets out and gets involved in everything. So make sure you check that out. Check out the calendar. See what's coming up. And guys, we got anything else?
Well,
yeah, I got one more thing.
Go for it.
Can you see that? You see that?
Oh, yeah. We did. We blew past 20,000.
Big deal for us.
That was great for us. That is all organic listens. We have not paid for a single ounce of advertising. We have not.
Cheap.
Yeah, exactly. We are cheap. We are very proud of the numbers that we are at and the listenership that we've got. You guys have found us organically. We can't say thank you enough. Maybe one day we'll actually pay for an ad out there or go whore ourselves out to some big massive farm to.
I did give a bum over at the 7-Eleven a cigarette and said, hey, I'll give you this cigarette if you listen to Wild and Weird Radio.
That's what I'm talking about. That's how it's done.
I'm going to admit that I did pay for a listen there. So just to be.
Good job, Jesse.
That is how it's done, though.
You've done God's work, Jesse.
So thank you, guys. That's huge. And remember.
Oh, wait, Joe. No, don't remember yet. Plug Wood Booger.
Well, do it.
Wait, come on. There's a big event called Wood Booger Festival. It's
Come
about
out to the Wood
Bigfoot.
Booger Jamboree at John Slack Park. We've got vendors lining up galore. We have musicians that are getting staged up and lined up. We've got food trucks that are already going to be set. Well, hopefully they're not set on the parking lot already.
No, that'd be bad. That'd be terrible food if they get that this early.
But it's going to be a blast. Free for attendees. Just come out, have a good time. It's the very first Bigfoot party that's ever been thrown in Boone County, West Virginia.
They are really
it's gonna be huge. The whole community is backing it. The city's backing it. It's great.
They're incredibly excited. If you want to sponsor any of the bands or whatnot, please get a hold of us. Let us know.
Absolutely.
Because this is pretty big for the community, and they're really excited about this, and we couldn't be more happy to, for them to let us come in there and do it. So.
So if you guys are listening, you're a business or an individual that wants to sponsor any portion of Wood Booger Jamboree or even Wild and Weird Con, just get a hold of us. We can set it up. We'll put your name up on the banner if you like. We'll even give you a spot at the show if you want. If you're
Jessie will shake your hand if she's there. I mean,
I will shake your hand.
She will.
I will commit to handshakes.
Remember, she's small. She can reach your hand.
So, Wood Booger's coming up May 21st. Gonna be a great time. Come out, hang out with us. We're going to have workshops, food trucks, amazing vendors. Local businesses are going to be there being supported. The schools are coming out to do fundraisers. What more can you want? This is all about the community. That's why we're doing this show.
Real live monster hunters, man. That's what they want.
You never know. Be on the lookout for Woody.
I know, right?
Woody, I've heard on good report here that Woody might actually be at the Wood Booger Jamboree.
Let's not say too much. Okay, kids, now's the time. Right as soon as the screen goes black, there'll be a flash, and then it'll go black. You didn't die. It's okay. It didn't happen. You're okay. You're still with us. So what you're going to do then is you're going to go to this address, and I'm going to put that address right here somewhere. I don't know. It's going to be here somewhere. It's the magic of post-production. You're going to go to that address, and when you go to that address, you're going to see the collective. Become a member. Join the collective. You'll like it.
And remember, Can I do that this
your
time?
life.
Am I good to? And remember, like, share, and subscribe. Because if you don't, odds are pretty good that I'm going to go and get all of the good usernames on the forum, and I will own them all, and I will make you pay me for the cool usernames. I'll make you get the ones that have like 1,000 zeros and ones beside their name if you don't like, share, and subscribe, because I'll get all the cool names out there. All of them. I'm already on the hunt.
He has the power.
Like, share,
he can
and
do it.
subscribe.
That's like, a level 3 right there.
Exactly. I've got a level 3 civilization that's going to be helping me out. Stay wild and weird, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye, folks.